Senator Arnberger, Senator Bicker, Senator Davis, Senator DeVore,
Here.
Senator Getz, Senator Gonzalez, Senator Gress, Senator Hand, Senator Hill, Senator Klein, Senator Lawrence, Senator Lewis, Senator Linder, Senator Melvin, Senator Motor, Senator Mumma, Senator Morgan, Senator Patel, Senator Powers, Senator Rajes, Senator Reyes, Senator Roscoe, Senator Smallback, Senator Tendick, Senator Weiss, Senator Wilson,
Here.
and Senator Yunker.
All right. Next up, remembrance and recognition of Dr. John Heinrichs with President Chris Roberts.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. John Heinrichs was not just a professor here at Fort Hays State University. He was a friend and mentor to the students. The impact that he made on this university is what separates us from any other institution in the state and in the nation. A man who would go out of his way to help students achieve their goals. He didn't talk to students, he talked with students. Embracing the forward-thinking, world-ready motto and preparing students for future endeavors, not by lecturing them, but by treating them as equals and challenging them to think critically, outside the box, as a team. My first interaction with John was actually over a phone call. He called seeking guidance for an international student that he barely knew to help the student fly back to Africa to tend to the death of his sisters. All of this was started by him noticing that there was something wrong with the student in the hallway, and him just going up to them and asking, "Is everything okay?" John exemplified integrity and character to the students that he beloved. The resolution that will be presented ends with a quote by George Bernard Shaw that I believe fits Dr. Heinrichs perfectly. "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all the progress depends on the unreasonable man." On behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and Dr. Hammond, I would like to present this golden medallion that signifies the everlasting friendship with Fort Hays State University to the wife and family of this wonderful man.
This is going to be a little bit difficult, but I guess I've done this a few times now in talking with people about my husband, who was, as you say, a wonderful teacher, mentor, friend, collaborator, all kinds of things. And there's so much. I hope some of you can actually come to his memorial service, which is on Saturday, to hear from people who know him from his past, and just to hear about where he came from and how he got to be where he was. He started out as very much a struggling student, and a lot of people didn't realize what a struggling student he was, but very much he was. For the brilliant man that he was, and people could see that in his brilliant mind, he still struggled in his early years to make sense of the world and to make sense of where his education should go and what he should do in the world. And so I wanted all of you to think and to realize that no matter how confused you are about where your education is or what you want to do in the future, that's okay right now, because if you just keep persevering through that, you'll find where you're supposed to be in life. And that's a lesson to learn from him, and I hope you guys can take it with you. I take it with myself. His family, it will be so excited to hear. I'm glad that some of his mom and his brother and his sister-in-law could be here today to hear this as well, because John wasn't somebody who bragged about himself, and I don't think they even know the true depth to this man and what he was to the students here at Fort Hays, which he loved. He loved this university so much, and he loved you guys. And just go on and persevere and be the person that you can be. No matter what that is, you have it inside of you to be something important in this world. If that's in your family, it's in your community, it's in your field of study, whatever it may be, you have it inside of you. And work with each other, help each other to find that within each other if that's what you need. But stick together and be strong. Thank you so much, really. I appreciate it so much.
We have no guest speakers for this evening. I'll move us into executive reports with President Chris Roberts.
All right, so I'm sorry I missed the meeting last week, guys, and I went to the basketball game to celebrate our 100,000th rider of Safe Ride, and then we got booted out of the halftime presentation, but that's okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. Anyways, I spent the portion of the last week in Topeka speaking to legislators on various issues regarding Higher Education Day, how the budget's going to be looking moving forward, and just getting the feel of the atmosphere for this coming legislative session. As you all know that, and Matt will be going in detail about, this Monday, Tuesday will be Higher Education Day at the Capitol. And this will be very important, and treating it very differently than we have in the past, as treating this as a kickoff event rather than, all right, let's get down there, hey, we still exist, and then nothing. That's the end of it. We have to keep the pressure on this year. It is very, very important. I believe we are in the right atmosphere currently, especially pending on when the court's ruling of the K through 12 decision will be. But I feel confident that the legislator understands the importance of higher education within the state of Kansas and the importance of how it is inspired to be able to grow the economy moving forward. So very excited about that. I've also been working with Pittsburgh State University and now quite possibly Emporia State University on a new initiative regarding open education resources and attempting to build a partnership between these three sister institutions to be able to begin working on general education courses that will all have free material for students. The amount of money that could save is remarkable. I mean, to me, I believe this is a no-brainer. General education is the same at Emporia State University, Fort Hays State University, and at Kansas University. it doesn't matter where you're getting it from. It's just the different teaching styles. So everyone should have the same material, especially if we're expected to have the same core outcomes and transferability. So I'm really excited about this moving forward, and I believe it'll be a great thing and start for the future because the potential to save these students money, like if I were to be attending Colby Community College and then it's like, all right, now it's time to continue on at Kansas, instead of having to retake those courses at Kansas that I've already taken that have the same basic material, or that even in the matter of, if I were to go to Kansas and my book costs $200 to take a history course, or go to Colby and it costs $50, but then there's an issue with the transferring or just the overall cost of the textbook. To me, if they have the same core outcomes, it should transfer, but we should also have the same material moving forward. So I think the potential is great with that. Also available on the handouts was the enrollment by student characteristics, that we can be able to take a look at that and just see the growth that this university has, and we all know that because it's been a selling point of Dr. Hammond, but where we're growing within the Hispanic population, within the older non-traditional students. We have to take this into account, especially moving forward about where the direction of the university is, but also the culture of this university and where virtual students play a part of that. So I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to be able to look at. Also was a copy of the new amendments to the rules and regulations by the Board of Regents regarding the social media policy on faculty and staff. Now, this does not directly relate to us, but at the same time, it does. Currently, I agree that there should be a policy in place. However, I believe by the way it was written, is written so broad that, and to the point where the chief executive of the university is the judge and jury of this faculty member, to where now professors have to think, can I actually post this on Twitter? Am I going to get fired by questioning anything that the university does? And that's counterproductive from what we're all about. So the board created a working group to look over their policy and make recommended changes. The faculty senate has been pushing across the state. It's been pushing very hard for them to suspend this policy until the working group brings out the recommendations. I am actually against that. Once they pass this policy, why should it go, oh, okay, well, we're sorry we didn't double check everything, and we should just go ahead and wait till the working group's done and then re-implement the policy. I think that would just be bad practice. So I understand the board's position on why they want to keep that policy, but I think it's important for us to make it clear to the board that they should be open to the recommended changes and be much more specific on these policy changes, because it could affect many things, from the hiring of faculty to just the overall culture and where we're going in the future. So other than that, thank you.
For me, this week it's been allocations. That's been my mantra since the beginning of the school year, and that's what's going to continue to be till about mid-March. I know that's like the only thing I've done, but at the same time, President Roberts and I were up in the wee hours of the morning this morning, or late last night, however you want to look at it, poring over books, looking at numbers. I see so many numbers now, I close my eyes and see numbers. So that's what I've been up to. Deadline is tomorrow at 4 o'clock sharp. So make sure your constituents are aware and they get them in. So moving on, we'll go to Campus Relations Director, Kaylin Campbell.
Really really this week, I've just been making sure that I'm getting caught up on the classwork and whatnot to prepare for next week. Looking forward to Higher Ed Day. I think it's going to be really awesome. Other than that, just randomly helping students come in, helping out with allocations and stuff as they need it. Don't forget to remind people, again, about the deadline and that we're going to be there tomorrow if they need our help with some final changes. So we'll be around. There's going to be help for them. Tell them not to panic as long as they get it on time.
All right, next up we have Legislative Affairs Director Matthew Whitmore.
So everybody's been saying Higher Ed Days next week. I've been working this week as in putting together the meeting times, the schedules, and assembling the teams. I think it's going to be a really good time. We're taking off on Sunday around 3. Monday is a training session, so all the teams can get a full understanding of what it is that we're going to be addressing and talking about with these, representatives and legislators. And then Tuesday is the actual day when we're at the Capitol. It's a full day there. We'll be done around 4 and head back to Hayes. But as President Roberts said, this is just the beginning. The rest of this semester, we're going to be focused on letter writing events, emails, calling sessions, making sure we keep it fresh, keep in the front of their minds, and keep, our initiatives out there. And so the final thing I have is if you are one of the senators going to Higher Ed Day, please see me after the meeting down in the office just for a quick little briefing on what it is that we're actually going to be addressing. Thank you.
Next up, Administrative Assistant Rachel Wary.
Simple is 13, 2/3 is 17, and we have 25 attendees this evening.
Treasurer Brandon Taylor.
Like everyone's been saying this week, I've been really busy helping student organizations with their requests, which is due tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I've also been helping with some of the logistics for Higher Ed Day, getting new senators to Topeka. I'll be available in the office all day tomorrow. I don't have class to help with allocations. If any of your organizations or your constituents have questions on their requests, just send them into the office, and Vice President Teval or any of us can help them with that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Finally, Public Relations Director Noelle Hoosman.
Hi, everybody. So at the beginning of this week, I kind of did follow up on what we did last week with the Senate pictures. Also, Chris did the allocations interview workshop last night, and we are going to have a YouTube video for that. So hopefully that will be ready by tomorrow so we can post it on our website and get that circulating for anyone who did not attend the workshop last night. Today and yesterday, I have been working on the February newsletter. It's going to be probably ready by Monday. I know it's a little late, but we're going to make it a big one so students, when they're waiting for their allocations interview, can kind of flip through it and see what's going on. Also, I know some of you guys shared a article about the virtual college and SGA for the Hayes Post, and the Hayes Daily actually published another article about it today. So if you have not read it, you should pick up a newspaper that's in the Union, and I also shared it on the SGA Facebook, so if you haven't read it, it's a good read. Thank you.
That will move us into committee reports for the evening, starting off with appropriations and Senator Davis.
My committee met tonight and heard 3 requests, and we have 4 bills up for reading tonight.
All right. Senate Affairs, Senator Lawrence.
Our committee met tonight and we did our last executive evaluation, and we also started working on constitution changes, and for the constitution changes, one of the things we came up with is a possible new formula for future Senate.
Student Affairs, Senator Powers.
He is still working on compiling and researching of other universities on how they do their honor code, and we'll be compiling it and presenting it and talking to ACFE here shortly.
Legislative and Political Action Committee, Senator Weiss.
Today, and we talked about Tiger Day, getting that planned for you. So if you want to mark your calendars, it's going to be March 11th. We are going to do an application process, so look out for those in the next coming weeks.
Community Relations and Programming Director, or Committee, Senator Reyes.
We did meet today, and then last week we met with a Leadership 310 class that took on the Rules of Rank campaign. So that was really cool. We got to chat with them a little bit and see what ideas they had. So they're taking that on, which will help us out a lot and hopefully be bigger and better. And we also, today we talked about just beginning planning for the big event that's going to happen on April 3rd as of right now.
And Allocations Committee, Senator Tendick.
It did not meet tonight, but just another reminder that the final deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m., so February 7th. And just remember to sign up for your hearings at the front desk in the SGA office.
All right. I'll move us into open forum this evening. Do we have any items for open forum? Senator Getz.
I just wanted to address an article that was posted in the University Leader about the College of Business being unaccredited. The College of Business is accredited, but it's regionally accredited through the university accreditation. That's how we receive our Title IV funding for financial aid and things like that. It does not have specialized accreditation, which is what it's talking about in the article, but that doesn't mean that it's below any other university, or like when you fill out an application for graduate school or anything like that, you can still put that you're from an accredited college. A lot of our students don't understand that because they hear things like the University Leader printed about the College of Business being unaccredited. We still have our accreditation through the university accreditation.
President Roberts.
Just to follow up on that, we're not saying that the TMN article is wrong. However, Tricia Getz, Senator Getz, I'm very pleased that you're able to clear that up because I know a lot of students came up to me and it's like, oh, since when is College of Business not accredited? What's my degree going to mean? For the students who don't understand how those type of processes work, even though the article wasn't wrong, I feel like it left out a few important details about that and some clarity for the students and for alumni in that matter as well. So thank you for bringing that up.
Any further discussion on this topic? All right. Seeing none. Any other items for open forum this evening? Senator Patel.
I wanted to bring up something that I've noticed and a lot of students that I've talked to have noticed this semester, which is problems with the Wi-Fi. I've noticed a lot in Custer Hall where I live, but I've also noticed it in a lot of buildings across campus, and a lot of students have come to me and talk about it. And it seems like usually when the internet is connected, the speeds are not too bad, like they're fine, but it gets disconnected quite a bit. Like for sometimes it happens maybe like 10 times in an hour. And I was wondering if anyone has filed a complaint on that or if there's any progress being made on that. Because I have talked to my hall director, and I guess they talked to the technical staff, and they said to install new drivers on your laptops. But I feel like it's a different issue because it seems like even after that, a lot of people are having problems.
Senator Getz.
I have a friend who lives in the residence halls, and he's had the same issues, but he's talked with somebody, whoever fixes those problems, works on the whole university network. I'm not exactly for sure who that is, but he's talked with them, and they realize the problem and are working towards addressing it.
Senator Davis. Okay. President Roberts.
Just to believe me, this is not a new issue. We actually, the Student Senate last year put out a survey just to bring some more attention to this issue, to really get on the radar of the technical staff and administration for where the trouble times are as well, and what kind of devices they're having troubles with. And really the outcome of that, and they have been slowly but progressively working towards the solution, is the number of access points that are available, like within McMidas Hall, for instance. There will be just the one access point that everything's connected to that is expected to be able to run through the next server, rather than having the multiple points to be able to provide a stable connection. And the problem is the wavelengths and that just small device itself being able to handle the capacity. So moving forward, I know they've, especially within the new residential facilities, it's not as much of an issue because they had already addressed it when they built the buildings. But the older ones like McMidas, Custer, Weast especially, it's still an issue that they're slowly working towards. I know in Weiss they're likely not going to do anything, mainly because it is scheduled for demolition and for a complete rebuild. But I know McMidas, they are attempting to make some progressive changes there.
Any other comments on this discussion? For what it's worth, I do know that the university with the master plan is taking those issues into consideration when designing their new buildings, and outside of that, that's where we stand. So, all right, any other items for open forum this evening? President Roberts.
Didn't be like a broken record here. Quickly, as Senator Lawrence mentioned, they're going through the Constitution and bylaws, and you saw the article as far as the virtual students, but I just want to gather some feedback from you guys, just to make sure that we're all on the same page of the vision I see with the virtual college and moving forward. I believe it is very important to be able to get them involved in the shared governance process to the extent that we've already created their own type of student government, but it is my belief that they should also be allowed to vote in the student body president and vice president elections. Maybe not as far as a full vote, maybe each one counts as a half vote. I don't know exactly how that would work out. I know the Senate Affairs Committee is doing a marvelous job working towards that. But I kind of want to get some feedback from you guys, because I know some students across campus felt, well, they're off campus, so they're their own separate thing. They shouldn't have any part within like an on-campus SGA representation. But I've also heard that they should be able to vote every single thing, access to everything that on-campus students have as well. So I just kind of want to hear from you guys what your opinions are moving forward. So.
Senator Morgan.
Have you talked to any virtual college students that are interested in being on a Senate, or?
So we had already created the Virtual College Student Advisory Committee, which is the student senate of the virtual college, and there's 2 representatives for each of the college, and that was already filled. There's a lot, how we did it for the pilot program was through an application process rather than an actual election. And there were over 50 applications for just for a very small select number of spots. It's a great group, and right now I'm working with them on creating their own rules and procedures. Just like how we have our bylaws, they need to have their bylaws dealing with their specific issues and how they go about from representing students and so on. But it's my belief, as far as like, the student body president is there to represent the interests of all students, whether you're on campus or not. And especially as technology advances and just kind of the directions of that I've seen universities are going, and the growing population of virtual students, I think we need to be able to be a leader and really show other universities that virtual students have a place and can have the same experience as on-campus students moving forward.
Senator Getz.
I think it would be fine for those individuals to vote in like the presidential and vice presidential election if those candidates have a way of campaigning to those students in an equal manner.
Any further discussion on this topic? President Roberts.
Would just the regular YouTube videos suffice, or on social media, like Twitter and Facebook, would those type of things suffice, or do you believe there needs to be something a little bit more extensive to where debates could be live streamed or so on?
Senator Getz.
I think those things would suffice as long as there's a way to get that link to the students so that they are aware of like the candidates that they're voting for and they have the ability to do the research for those candidates. I like, even if it's just emailing them a link saying check these 2 candidates out. I mean, it would be a way to get information to them about the candidates, where if you're on campus you can talk directly to the candidates.
Campus Relations Director Campbell?
I think almost an even, well, if we were able to generate, find a way to generate enough interest on the virtual community, I think you could even go beyond that by doing a live Twitter session, live question and answer session with virtual students, a live Skype, debate, something like that. I just think we would need to move forward a little bit, tread a little carefully to make sure that we are getting the interest, because I think it would be more effective if we were to do it that way than if we were to just post a YouTube link to, a debate.
Senator Roscoe?
What kind of, issues are they facing? Any issues, or do they have any concerns? The reasoning why, if they have more interest in that, President Roberts?
Well, the way it's structured right now is, we get to talk about the issues. We're a part of the shared governance process. There are on-campus students and university committees. We are very involved. We're very grateful to have a university where we have that opportunity. That does not exist in virtual college. It is, here are your fees, here is, if you're having issues, you can just go click this. Professor issues, well, sorry, we do have a survey about feedback after the class, but even that is difficult because you have to wait till after the class to do anything. There are many, many issues underlying as far as, on campus. There is office hours that exist for the professors where you as a student know that they will be in the office and go in without setting up an appointment and be able to see them, at least with most professors. That doesn't exist within a virtual college. It's email, and a lot of the times it could take days, if not longer, to be able to receive that feedback. And a lot of the professors within the virtual college are also professors somewhere else or way far away from even within Florida or across within the New England states. They're not here on campus, so I can't go and be like, hey, why haven't you been able to get a hold of these folks? There has to be some way to be able to have that student voice in there to show a little bit more accountability within that and reassure these students that they have an opportunity to do something about the different issues. And even more aligned as far as is the fact that right now our funding structure is set up to where you come in and ask for appropriations or allocations, you can only fund on-campus students. But we're getting money from the virtual college. So I know that is a supplemental fund from the students who are taking on-campus classes and virtual classes and different things like that. I know it's been restructured to where now we have base per credit hour on campus, and it's going to be base per credit hour virtual college students. So they're paying for all our fees for us to be able to go do stuff. Why can't they be able to go to New York as well and get to go to their stock exchange and actually be able to build a relationship with on-campus students as well? Or even, there's even an issue to where virtual students couldn't even go to athletic events because they couldn't get a Tiger card because they're a virtual student. And that was resolved before, but it's those types of things, which is why this needs to exist moving forward.
Senator Powers?
Just to go back kind of to the core of his question, but I think it's a really good idea that they have representation, and not only just because they do contribute, but also to stay competitive as a university. It's something that's necessary in moving forward. In order to stay world ready, in order to stay on top, we need to make that path for other universities to follow and to stay on top and continue growing as a university. I think we need to definitely move forward on this. So that's my thoughts.
Senator Klein.
I was just going to say, I have a really good friend that's part of the virtual college, and she definitely has issues sometimes that she would probably like to talk to someone about. And I know that she would be really interested in knowing that this is a possibility that could be coming up. So.
Senator Han.
Just for clarification, are they, okay, they're starting their own Senate for everything. I direct my question.
We didn't call it a student senate, we called it for right now a student advisory committee, because really that's what we are as well. We advise on different things. We're not binding within that. Anything could be overturned by the president of the university. But it's really beginning the potential and the growth that I've seen. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually maybe it's just changed as part of SGA and it's a separate entity, but that's within the future. But for now, as far as part of the pilot program, just getting it going, getting off the ground, that's the name we kind of went with.
So, would, I guess, in the future, could we see letting them have a vote on, like, here on Thursday nights in our SGA, or would they stay with their own?
They would not have a vote, because a lot of the issues we face are, besides the honor code, which would apply to all, are a lot of on-campus things going on, like internet connectivity within the dorms, different things like that. I think it would be kind of tedious to have that type of thing, but they should be their own entity and body. That's why I was saying the student body president and vice president should represent all of them, but there's two separate branches, a student senate on campus and student senate for virtual college that will handle their own aspects and different things. But when it comes to the funding part of that, I believe that the appropriations committee within the on-campus student senate should have still maintain the control of those type of funds and the funding structure, especially for now until it really develops in the future.
Senator DeVore.
My biggest concerns with this is that if they end up being two separate entities, like you say, then I feel like the off-campus group will feel less credible than on campus, especially, from as an individual looking in, even though I probably have bias because I live on campus, but it feels like to me that since we have the brick and mortar, that we're more important, and I'm worried that it's going to end up being like that, feeling that the on-campus people have more precedence over the off-campus, even though off-campus, according to the sheet that we're handed, is starting to get more and more numbers.
Campus Relations Director Campbell.
I think kind of to connect with what you're saying, and I completely understand what you're saying, to look at this a different way, we're not necessarily, I think something that we need to think about is adding a virtual component to some of the things that we do on campus doesn't just bring the virtual students into some of the committees or issues. It doesn't just give them a voice in the existing issues and committees and decisions. It expands their opportunity to open up something completely different. It expands their opportunity to be something bigger and more prominent than what they already are, rather than just being a part or a different part of our university. It gives them a better opportunity to be able to do more from a distance.
Senator Klein.
I'm kind of with Senator DeVore on that, and I just kind of want clarification on when President Roberts was talking about the two branches. What if there's an issue that overlaps between the two? Will they be able to come and have a say in that, or will it be handled differently?
President Roberts.
So, yes and no. I say that because that is why we need to have the student body president and vice president being able to represent both, be able to represent all students, not just on-campus students, because it's, within our Constitution, it's the student body's president's job to directly represent those students and advocate for those students and represent their interests, whether it's virtual or on campus. Now I get what's being said, but the virtual college is already its own. I just want everyone to realize it's a separate modality. Let me think how to phrase this. The university is split within the three modalities. The virtual college is one modality, on campus is one modality, international and the overseas is another modality. what this is, we're creating representation within another modality of the university. So I know this was struck down and it's very, separate but equal. I gotta think. I don't know exactly want to say that, but that's really what it would be. And when issues overlap, just like within, we pass let's say we pass a resolution saying, I can't think of a good issue offhand. X issue, we want this done about it. Well, then they can pass a resolution the same. X issue, we want this done about it. And then the job of student body president to make sure that gets done because it's the will of the Senate. So it'd be their job. They would be able to pass their own resolutions. They have their own bylaws, their own set of procedures and regulations of how to handle things. And what's even more important is, within that modality, having that representation will then also helps provide feedback to the administration of the virtual college, but also, puts more behind what students want within the virtual college as well. So I don't believe it'd be on campus to have more presidents than the virtual college. I don't believe that at all. I believe it'd be the exact same presidents no matter what issue it is being tackled.
Any further discussion on this topic? Seeing none. Any other items for open forum this evening? Seeing none, that will move us into new business for the evening, starting off with Bill 14S100. Originated and presented by Appropriations Committee, whereas the Appropriations Committee, in a manner in accordance with established procedure, has heard a trip request from Sociology Club, noting that the request has been deemed suitable with regard to constitutional mandates and committee guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved by a 2/3 vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Body President that Sociology Club be funded $1,000 for the following lodging. Move us on to Bill 14S101. Originated and presented by Appropriations Committee. Whereas the Appropriations Committee, in a manner in accordance with established procedure, has heard a trip request from Pre-Dental Club, noting that the request has been deemed suitable with regard to constitutional mandates and committee guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved by a 2/3 vote of the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President that the Pre-Dental Club be funded $257 for the following mileage and other. Bill 14S102. Also originated and presented by Appropriations Committee, whereas the Appropriations Committee, in a manner in accordance with established procedure, has heard a trip request from Pre-Dental Club, noting that the request has been deemed suitable with regard to constitutional mandates and committee guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved by a 2/3 vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Body President that Pre-Dental Club be funded $468.55 for the following mileage and other. Bill 14S103, originated and presented by Appropriations Committee, whereas the Appropriations Committee, in a manner in accordance with established procedure, has heard an equipment request from Pre-Dental Club, noting that the request has been deemed suitable with regard to constitutional mandates and committee guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved by a 2/3 vote of the Student Senate and signature of the Student Body President that Pre-Dental Club be funded $1,179.70 for the following preventative oral health education materials and dental admissions test study materials. That will move us on to Bill 14S104, originated and presented by Senate Affairs Committee, whereas the Student Government Constitution states that the Senate Affairs Committee shall be in charge of filling vacant Senate seats, and noting that the Senate Affairs Committee has conducted interviews of interested students for the purpose of representing their constituency, recommends that the following student be considered for a Senate seat: Sam Cooper, College of Arts and Sciences. Therefore, be it resolved by a 2/3 vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Body President that the above list be ratified as a senator for the Student Government Association. About have that appropriations memorized. That will move us out of new business for the evening and into old business, which we have none, which will carry us into announcements. I will start off Allocations deadline is tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the SGA office. When you turn in your request, please sign up for a time slot to have a hearing. Moving on. Senator Hand.
So, American Democracy Project is getting ready to have 2 different events this next week, so please take out your calendar. If you are not going to Higher Education Day, we are having our first Times Talk of the year, which will be at noon on Tuesday, which is the 11th of February, and it is about ethics in media. It will be given by Zach Castens in the English department, and he's a character, so it's sure to be good. We're also having on the next day, Wednesday, the 12th, Red Hand Day, which is a day that brings awareness for to stop the use of child soldiers in countries across the world. So we'll be doing a letter writing campaign. Personally, American Democracy Project will be sending letters to the president, Representative Tim Huelskamp, Senator Jerry Moran, and Senator Pat Roberts. And then I believe Secretary of State John Kerry. And then GLP, Global Leadership Project, will be sending letters to different representatives at the United Nations. But come by our table, dip your hand in our red paint, and then you get to stamp it on a piece of white paper and then write a little note on it. That's really cool. And then we're going to have this backdrop that I'm making tomorrow at work. It's sure to be a great time. And you take a picture with it and we'll post it on the Facebook page, and all the letters that we write and some of the hands will be sent to Washington, D.C. and New York City to the United Nations and the Capitol to try and bring awareness to that, as well as they will be also hung in the Union on the poster wall, so you can come show people that you did an awesome thing to raise awareness. Thank you.
Senator Getz.
In the words of former Senator Tormey, for the allocations deadline, no applications or no requests will be accepted that are slid under the door or turned in late, even if it's 1 minute late.
Thank you. President Roberts.
So being passed around is a event that's going on Monday. Those of you attending Higher Education Day won't be able to attend it on campus, but we will be showing our support while we're at Washburn University, and that's the rise to bring awareness to women in need and just sexual assault that happens all over the world. And I find great importance in this, and I would like to yield the rest of the time to Senator Wise to be able to talk about this and encourage you guys to be able to come. But I know it's not part of an office hour or anything, but I think it would be very good as campus leaders to be able to go and show your support for such a noble cause.
He basically summed it all up. That night we're going to be doing a dance movement, so there'll be performances by the Tiger Dubs and then local dance teams, and it's just to raise awareness about women's issue, education, social issues, and also gender-based violence. And all you have to do is come show your support, and we might educate you on some things you may not know that women face here in Kansas and around the world. But something really exciting about that event is we're going to have an international woman from Namibia who started her own nonprofit called Victims to Survivors, and she's actually going to be here and be a part of our 1 Billion Rising. But she'll also be at our AAUW meeting, which is Monday as well at 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., and she's going to talk to us about international issues that she works with, trying to help these women get out of the situations that they're in, and why it's a cultural thing, the different barriers that they face as women. So hope to see you guys all there, and thanks for the support, Chris.
Senator Armberger.
That downstairs in the SJ office, there's 5 sheets of paper, okay, and they have lines on them. And I need you guys to put down your name and then what organizations you're involved in, because I'm going to go through there and have you guys talk to your organizations about the big event instead of assigning other people to do it. Am I making any sense? So I already did one for myself. I put my name in the organizations I'm involved in. So if you guys could do that tonight or sometime this week, that would be great. Thank you.
Senator Roscoe.
2 weeks from Monday, on the 24th of February, the Black Student Union will be celebrating Black History Month through a play that I have written and I will be directing. It'll be 6:30 p.m. in Cody Commons. I'm inviting you guys to come check it out. Invite your friends. You will be getting emails and seeing advertisements around campus. We'd really appreciate it if you came out and supported us. It's a free event with some refreshments there, so you guys can come by and see what I'm good at and see what the organization has been doing on campus. So thank you.
All right. Also, I'd like to thank our friends from Colby Community College for making the trek down in the cold winter weather. And I'm excited to go downstairs, exec board, and hopefully some of you committee chairs will join us downstairs to help broaden their knowledge on what goes on here at Senate. So, with that, are there any further announcements? Senator Hand, did you have an announcement? Okay. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Lewis, seconded by Senator Gonzalez. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? One noted. And abstentions. All right, meeting adjourned.